I am Ruhrculel, a mighty sorcerer of the undying valor. The time has come for me to rise to the glory of the one that was entrusted with the library of Osmantius, here in this long-forgotten temple. I was the one who was destined to inherit Osmantius's knowledge, and I am the one destined to the task that he failed to take, that final step, to attain the power of immortality. Year 1. As I cross the red wastes, I am reliving the thirst from a previous journey, as my tongue dries and swells. I fall to my knees and pull out a dagger from the folds of my robe. I am here, Znathat. I know that you have the secrets which I seek. Come, share them with me. I hear a voice behind me. It acknowledges that I have returned to this place. I turn to look at the demon, expecting to see an abomination, a multitude of eyes and appendages and colors not found on this plane. But I see something far worse. I see myself, the same hair, eyes, robes, holding the same dagger. The only difference, the eyes. Rather than the familiar eyes of a human, Znathat's eyes seem to contain the void. He asks what I seek that would bring me to these wastes. I tell him I must find the machine of Lorenau. My library contains much of the knowledge that I need, but the machine is key to filling some of the gaps that kept Osmantius from ascending. He tells me that surely I know that I am not the only one seeking such a thing. He wants to know why I think he might have it. Oh, I'm fairly certain you don't. However, you were with Lorenau when it was lost. The demon circles me, asking if it is true that he was with Lorenau. Yes. Znathat nods, seeming to come to a decision. He asks if I have a vessel for him. Yes, I say as I lift the amulet that is around my neck. He nods. He says that it is opulent and that he will join me. But our contract is not yet sealed. If I truly want his help, I must pay him in blood. Blood spilled between brothers on a holy day. Blood that is stirred up by rage, awakened by envy. Then he will come with me now until I am ready to pay. I blink, and he's gone, though the amulet suddenly feels lighter, as if part of the weight is carried by another. The time will come. Year 2. The Tower of Glumall, my friend, whom I have not seen for some time, reflects the architecture of the Isle of Artemis, obsidian and ivory. Prosperity reaching toward the sky in each spire. I reach the door to his study and look out the window to my left, where I can see the harbor below, filled with ships loading and unloading in this port. Before my third knock, the door swings open to reveal my friend, Glumall, his beard shifting from a smile, though his eyes indicate concern. He invites me to come in. As I walk in, I take in the surroundings. Ravens, and things that look like ravens, in cages above our heads. Various paraphernalia, candles, bottles, tubes, scrolls, everything that a court wizard needs to maintain the servile semblance of authenticity. I fear my friend has adopted this as more than just a mask for greater ambitions. No sooner do I think this than I find myself surrounded by flame, a prison of black, red, and orange. I turn to Glumall to see him drop his hand. He tells me he is sorry, as his friend. But the rest of his face reflects the concern that was in his eyes. He says that he cannot let me continue on the path that I'm on, for he has an obligation. For the first time I notice the portrait behind him, a portrait of Orinthia herself, crown and all, hastily drawn in Gloomall's own hand. A sketch, really. My lip curls. Queens rise and fall, Gloomall. We were pursuing a more permanent power. He shakes his head. He acknowledges that that was the path we once walked. Yet now he can't. And why not? What could be so important? You put yourself in a position where you have such resources, access to wealth that many of us would envy, all in exchange for the appearance of good advice. He glances at the sketch, then back to me. He repeats that he cannot let me continue. He has seen where it leads, and that it would end her. He says he cannot bear it. You love her. Fool. With a wave of my hand, a glow from the amulet around my neck, the flames dissipate. The cages above us clatter to the floor. I can hear Gloomall's screams as his ravens consume him. You still owe me blood, I hear. Snathat is reminding me. Someday, friend. Someday. Year 4. The city of glass rises from the seas. Its people are tall, slender. Several young, and none that seem old. They seem to grow from youth to agelessness. I hear them speaking a language like silk, but beyond my present comprehension. At the center of the city, a glow from the tallest spire swirls in the air. Words, I'm sure. My eyes open. Does the Isle of Glass hold the answers I seek? Or is Nathat infecting my dreams with distractions? I rise, light a lamp, and return to search the books of my library. Surely there is another clue here. Something that will move me toward glory. Year 5. My dear Duke, do you know what you ask? He says that he does. He does not come to me lightly. The Duke is a large man, half a head taller than I, and strongly built. The layers of clothing further enhance the obviousness of his appearance. Gray has just begun to touch his otherwise red beard. Poison. Mundane assassins. He says that the Queen must have been made paranoid ever since the death of Gloomall. She's barely left her room in the last 3 years, refuses to see anyone but her most trusted servants. Naturally, she cannot rule like this. Her council refuses to move without her approval, so the island is now in shambles. So, Duke, what do you get with her out of the way? He says that his wife has a claim to the throne. Not the only one, but he's hopeful that the people's support will convince the council to decide rightly. And what do I get? The Duke's eyes dart about my room. Books, books. Scrolls, books, candles, lamps. Books, 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 books. He seems at a loss. Frankly, Duke, you don't seem particularly interesting to me. Unlike my friend Gloomall, I have no interest in queens. My interests are a bit more long-lived. I doubt that you will be able to help me with them. The Duke's shoulders drop. Well, perhaps there is something. I trust you have access to ships. I may need one for my studies, with a crew, of course. He agrees, says I will have it. In that case, Duke, you will have your request. The Queen will be overcome with the madness. We'll only see release in death. It will take time, but her will to live, whatever remains of it, will soon be gone. Year 6. The smoke rises from the entrails. A companion is coming. The truth will be learned. A plot is rising. The next few years will be interesting. Year 7. You can come out. I've been expecting you. The man comes out of the corner of my bedroom, clothed in dark grey, eyes alone visible. You hide well. I assume that you're here to kill me? Shake of the head. Then what? Speak, man. His hand removes the cloth from in front of his mouth. He says that he has heard of me, the sorcerer in the library, that it is said that I had a hand in the ascendancy of the new queen. People say many things, I tell him, though he does point out, rightly, that not all of them are false. So what do you want? He wants to help me, he says. Very well, Jamin. He seems a bit surprised that I know his name. As I said, I've been expecting you. Year 8. Jamin's blade flashes and the serpent falls lifeless. Thank you, Jamin. Water drips from the cave ceiling above as I approach the pool. I chant the words that I found in the library and light the incense. The images in the pool begin to coalesce, the city of glass, but empty. My vision focuses on a wall in a cathedral, perhaps. Strange writing shifts. Ages past, a deal was struck. A man of power and a lord of luck. The man given wishes 3. One remains, spent to be. Year 11. Irkun is now queen of Artemis. Her predecessor, my indirect ally, has been overthrown. It seems that the nobles of Artemis didn't trust that a sorcerer should choose the new queen. No matter. Irkun will serve my purposes, or she will cease to serve at all. Year 12. I have returned to my senses. Exploring the chaotic planes has eluded me. I have not yet learned how to carry my powers with me to those dimensions. The draft was supposed to allow me to do so. Instead, I found myself floating through the void, my mind fading, bending, twisting. I saw my old master there, Filgun, who had been lost beneath the waves when I failed to save him. He was cackling at me. But I have returned now. Have I? I'm finding food rotting, water turning to ash when I drink. Perhaps the madness has not left me yet, though Jamin's face seems to say that the rot is from the food, not just in my nose. Kilgoon was always a petty man. Year 14. Enough, Jamin. We must give the boy a chance to speak. The thief catches his breath, seemingly relieved. Who sent you? I ask. The thief, no more than a boy, tells me no one did. He had heard talk of an amulet that would surely fetch a high price. This boy is a good thief. He made it this far in, even managing to avoid Jamin's vigilant guard. Have I grown too lax in my defenses? Am I now vulnerable to children? Surely not. Finish your work, Jamin. Put his head on a pike by the dock. Such a shame. He could have been useful. Year 15. We can see the ruins of Acheron in the distance. Our trip across the cracked tundra is nearly complete. The library tells that the sorcerers of Acheron had a special relationship with the demonic planes. Hidden here, there must be something that will help me in my journey. We enter into the city, huge by modern standards, and I lead our party toward the tallest tower. Certainly the home of someone important, someone with scrolls, books, artifacts. As we exit the building, the sound of skittering. We look to see giant spiders all moving toward us. We look up. They're on the buildings as well, all coming for us. We turn, we run. Jamin in the lead, I close behind, the others behind us. I hear a scream. I turn to see him overcome. He was a large man, both as prince consort and duke before that. He would make for a good meal for the spiders. Year 16. One serpent follows another out of the boy's mouth. The larger consumes the smaller, and then both turn to ash. I can only take this to mean that this particular demon will not be intervening with Queen Heirloom. What a waste of the soul of an orphan. I must be careful. Jamin's trips may soon gain notice of the order of justice, and I'm not yet ready to deal with them. Year 17. At last. I have found what I needed. The body is simply machine. With the right potions, it can be preserved forever. I simply needed those potions. So I summoned help. I claimed the wish, which was forgotten so long ago. And the demon was obligated to fulfill that wish. Jamin, the amulet, for a small price to pay. So here I am, elixir in my hand. I drink. I can feel the elixir working its way through my body, first warm, and then cooling. I can feel my heart racing, my breath deepening. And then it all stops. No heartbeat, no breath. But my mind goes on. I continue to move. I have done it. My body is preserved. I will not die. I am Ruhrculel, the Lich Ruhrculel. Ruhrculel, the Undying. This is a little bit different from what I normally do here. So I hope you enjoyed it. I made this all based on playing through a playthrough of Lichdom. I've played through that game a couple times now. The first time through, I just kind of focused on the mechanics of the game. Which is really, it's really a very simple game mechanically, and you're just trying to, you only have one real resource, I guess kind of two, and you have resolve and doom. Uh, so it's really just about managing these resources as you move through to try to attain lichdom, drawing cards, rolling dice, dealing with challenges, that kind of thing. This time through, I decided to make more of a story of it so that I could share it with y'all. It definitely got a bit darker than I normally would go in some places, but it was a fun playthrough. It was a fun playthrough. So if you're unaware, Lichdom is very much kind of a journaling game where you are you're a sorcerer trying to achieve lichdom, and you may or may not succeed based on the resources, the challenges that you face, and all of that. So if you want to check it out, go ahead and check the link. I have a link to the Drive Through RPG page for it below. Um, and I guess then this is Prof E signing out.